Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT Rostermania, and with Shroud potentially revealing his next move, 100 Thieves have also seemingly been in conversation with Sentinels, also from the LOUD roster, in terms of what that might potentially mean, but also Asuna saying that evil geniuses are just doing nothing right now, and maybe won't even want to support the North American scene. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. Smashing through 34,000 subscribers as well. Just love to see it. Not quite yet, but I'm sure we can get through it today. This firstly from VALORANT confirming yesterday that, Harbor is going to be the new agent for, Agent 21, I believe it is now. So Indian male character agent controller that we believed he would be. He's got these seemingly water smokes or whatever, so it's a bit of an interesting one. And in fairness, the fact that there's Harbor and there's Pearl, playing Harbor on Pearl, it's a bit interesting, let's just say. And also this on the left-hand side here, you can see he's got this bicycle helmet going on, which has a crack in it. So I wonder if he's got any potential, he can maybe add some extra, helmet protection or head protection or something to his character that other players, other characters don't have access to. That would be interesting as well. So I don't really know too much yet in terms of what he does, but yeah, controller player, we believe he's obviously got this kind of water wall and this water smoke you guys can see here on screen, but he might have some sort of helmet thing as well. So that might be some indication in terms of what his character is going to do when he gets released relatively soon. And apparently they're doing an entire physical event in Mumbai next week for the upcoming new agents. That's really exciting stuff as well for the Indian scene. Firstly, I just wanted to discuss briefly this whole Game Changers drama. I'm honestly kind of fed up with it at this point. The amount of tweets I've seen that look like this, my complete and honest truth about everything in a twit longer about the whole Game Changers drama. We talked about it yesterday that one player might have been cheating, or maybe it was even the day before we talked about a player being cheating, and then there was a follow-up to it, and now there's a further follow-up here from GenG, also from that kind of EQ Cerise team that we saw. So this player Dyslexia got banned for cheating, right, on the account. But apparently it's not just the fact that they may have had cheats downloaded, but as is described here, I entertained his idea of pretending to be non-binary in order to compete, and helped him sub in for my previous team during VCT. So obviously there's a lot more discussion on this, but this is one of the things I was talking about yesterday, right? The fact that, apparently this guy Dyslexia basically said, yeah, okay, if I just pretend to be non-binary, then you're allowed to, because that's the Game Changers thing, it's female players, but also non-binary players, and giving more opportunity to players in that position. Look, unfortunately, some bad people are going to try and take advantage of this stuff, as is the case here, when someone was like, yeah, okay, I'm non-binary, and let me just sub in. And not only did they not get caught for that, they got caught because they actually had cheats downloaded. So, Game Changers is an absolute mess, and I think I'm just going to leave it there for now, unfortunately, because otherwise it'll devolve even further into chaos. Firstly, this from Fnatic quickly, because they were playing last night with, certainly not the full Fnatic roster for next season. We believe that Leo is going to be Boaster, Durka, Alphager, Chronicle, and Leo, we believe, is a very scary team of 5 for Fnatic going into next season. And even this I thought was pretty funny. My IGL says Durka, because Boaster runs around here with the rays on and uses his ult to destroy a killjoy turret rather than actually killing anyone. But even Marv says my IGL. So big questions were made about Marv, what's going to happen with him going forwards, because, we don't know where he's going to go. It's possible, and some were mentioning in the comment sections actually, that could Marv have thought that the whole Sentinels thing was on the cards and he was going to be joining Sen, and then after things kind of fell through there because LOUD broke up, and then they decided to get Pancada instead in that controller position, now Marv doesn't have the Sentinels offer that he thought he had, and now potentially the NRG thing has fallen through. So yeah, tricky situation for Marv. We'll definitely stay tuned for how that one develops. This quickly from Ye, flying out to the Netherlands. Not exactly sure which organizations are based in the Netherlands necessarily. I guess he's just going there on holiday. We believe he's signing to Cloud9. I believe there was even a clip that came out from Zelsis where he implied that the announcement for Cloud9 will be on the 15th. But even Asuna did say yesterday, even teams like Cloud9 aren't confirmed to be sticking together. So it's not exactly guarantees that these announcements will come immediately, but they'll probably be arriving sooner or later, right? So yes, Ye, we think, is going to be going to Cloud9, but he's maybe on holiday to the Netherlands, or maybe engaging in some last minute discussions with a certain organization that might want to offer him way more money. But you would think that Cloud9 should probably do a good enough job there regardless. Now, let's talk LOUD, because we've seen, of course, that Sacy and Pancada, they will join Sentinels, but the entire rest of the team will, as we saw leaked yesterday or rumored yesterday, will stay together. Aspas, Sadak, and Les will remain on the roster for 2023. Now, one very interesting thing that he talked about in this article was that Sadak was actually in discussion with another organization, and that organization was 100 Thieves. So there was the discussion here for this player to join 100T this past season before he then committed his future to LOUD. So that's pretty interesting. We don't know how early on that happened, happens. But yeah, just goes to show 100 Thieves are not necessarily done and dusted quite yet. We know that they've got Cryo in. We, of course, think that they're going to keep Asuna, Bang, and then Derek on the team. The IGL position is still in question. We saw yesterday, is there a possibility for Xander or another player like that to step into that IGL role? Like as yet, Stellar, I think, has proved a fair bit, but he's not necessarily proved in my mind to be quite yet a top 3 IGL, let's say, in North America, whereas some of the other players on his team, I think, most certainly are top 3 in their respective roles, which is kind of all you can ask for when you've got Sen and you've got, you know, Cloud9 also around you, NRG, for example, trying to build great teams. EG, not so much. We'll see Asuna's perspective on that too in a second. What would you guys think about this one if ShahZaM was actually to have gone to 100T, and even if he's not going there now, like, you never really know, because you guys remember when there was discussions that cNed was going to go to 100T as well, and then he either turned that down to stay on at Send, and all that type of stuff happened. 100 Thieves are never afraid of trying to make some big changes, and seemingly they were also potentially interested in some of the Loud guys, just as Sentinels are and continue to be. Even this here, Sentinels tweet out this, and this was spotted on their TikTok last night, and this practically confirms that Sacy is joining the roster. You guys can see here at the start, where basically there's like a Sova dart that flies around, and it bounces off, of course you can see the Loud guys' names are now on the maps, and here the shock dart bounces, or the Sova dart bounces off Sacy's name on the kind of, well, on the Loud thing right here on the map. So pretty much confirming, it's guaranteed. No, check out this dart lineup, he says. Hit Sacy, it's gonna happen. Sacy Pancada to the team alongside zyppan, Dephh, and TenZ, we believe is going to be the Sentinels roster going forward. Now, speaking of this, of course, Shroud was on the roster last season at the end of last year, at least for the LCQ. Where is Shroud going to go? Now, look, to some degree, he might be joking around here, but this would be very interesting indeed. With Shroud saying, I guess I will join Loud, and this is the key point. We saw yesterday that some North American teams might not be signing North American players necessarily, and Evil Geniuses, as we'll see Asuna say here in a second, also might not be really helping the North American scene to a great degree. There are plenty of European players and talent, and also from the South American and Latin American scene that might want to move to a team like EG, and therefore players like Shroud that want a spot in the franchise league. And of course, all the teams are going to be based, we believe, around Los Angeles. So that's the key thing for Shroud that he mentions, is that yes, he wants to compete. He either wants to be on a tier 1 team or be on a tier 2 team and effectively run his own team or organization or build up some young players effectively. But ideally, he'll be on a tier 1 team in the partnership league. And the key kind of question he had was whether he could stay at home in Los Angeles and compete with the team out of there effectively, because that's where it will be based, the Americas League, for the upcoming season. That was one of Shroud's key questions, and now that even a team like Loud will be based, you'd think, for the vast majority of the season in LA when they have to play their matches, so it would make sense. Now, like, thinking about this a little bit more critically, we believe that Les doesn't really speak the best English, so having Shroud in, I don't really know how much sense it really makes, but, you know, Loud Shroud would be quite something for the record books, but it seems relatively doubtful. But at the same time, right, if you are getting, like, Brazilian players going to North American teams, why not the other way around? If they can work around it, why not get some North American players to other teams? We've already seen some players from North America and other regions get poached and imported to other respective regions. Why not a similar story here from Shroud within his own region, but to the South American side? So that would be very interesting, wouldn't it, if a lot of these South American teams field just, you know, purely South American Brazilian rosters, but the North American teams start to get a fair few of those guys in their rosters as well. You would imagine there will be some switcherooing where some of those teams down south will be bringing in players from North America as well. So that is one thing to keep your eyes on for sure. And even this from Asuna, saying that Evil Geniuses right now are far from guaranteed to be doing anything that helps North America. He says that it feels like from a North American player's perspective, there's only 4 NA teams, and Evil Geniuses aren't really helping anything. Now, we still expect them to get NA players, but as it stands, we have no idea what they're doing.
No, I already said it, but I think there should have been like 6 NA.
I mean,
if I'm being true,
I don't want to be the guy, but it's like we have 4 NA slots. With
damn.
What? I still don't know what EG's
oh
doing.
my
Like,
god, just throwing EG on. Oh my god, Pete.
no, wait, I don't know what they're doing.
You just said EG is. Oh my god.
Am I wrong though? I mean, they're gonna get NA players, right?
The
but I don't know.
Is starting.
What are you saying right now, bro?
I'm sorry.
I have no idea what they're doing.
Like, I agree though. It is like we have 4 NA slots because
at the moment it's like 4 NA slots, and then EG is gonna join like later. Because I don't even know what they're doing. From the I know as much as the leaks say.
So these are the rosters as we believe them to be. The 100 Thieves team, the Sentinels team, the Cloud9 team, the NRG team. We're pretty sure what they're going to be. But EG, nobody really knows. Now, Jorgamer, we think is going to stay. These are the type of players that could be coming in. Of course, B-Dog, we're talking about the likes of Dicey as well as the Chamber player. That could be viable. babybay certainly on the market as well, formerly of FaZe. Valin Xander as the RGL. Trent, I think, like, he's for sure gotta be on a team like this. I'd be mind-blown if Trent doesn't get on a team. And then they've got the likes of Nismo, Baby J, all these type of players. So I quite like this this list that the kind of equally Fern here comes up with, just to say some of the key free agent names that could be in consideration. But we think that they might keep one or two players from the old EG roster. And if they do, then some of these big name players might be out of there, right? So yeah, there is still some belief and a hope that some of the top North American prospects will get picked up by EG. But if they don't, what's to say, like Shroud, they don't try and join one of these other Americas teams? And it could potentially be one of the South American organizations in the end that ends up going down a route like this. I wouldn't be surprised if at least one of these organizations from South America goes for a mixed team and tries to make sure that everyone speaks English and can stay on the same page that way. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Just thought I'd finish out with this. I thought it was great. A matrix by Weltis Games on whether you should save or retake. So this chart effectively says if it's in the green, you should save. If it's in the red, you should go for the retake. You look at how many rifles you have, you look at your estimated retake success probability, and then you make the decision. So pretty interesting that most situations are apparently worthy of going for the retake. So he reckons that if you're down by only one player, that gives you only about a 15% chance of winning the rounds. If you do go for the retake, but then you've got to consider other factors such as utility and what map you're playing on and the site that you're particularly trying to retake. So you weigh all those things up to come up with an idea of what your success probability is. You then consider how many rifles you could save, and then you, well, could consult this chart mid-game to try and figure out whether or not it's worth it to go for the retake anyway, or whether you just try and save and use those rifles going forward. So effectively, if you've got many rifles to be saved and you've got a low success chance, then just go for the save. However, I thought it was interesting, for example, if you've got 2 rifles to be saved here and you're in a 2 versus 3, you're better off just going for the retake and trying to make it happen, because you're better off going for that rather than saving the rifles, because on average you'll win more rounds going for that decision. So yeah, really interesting matrix, I thought. If well, someone could commit this to memory, it might be kind of useful to have. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.